classic reviews are back, album review mode locked in, and we are back to talk about the new Ed Sheeran album. No point introducing this guy at this point. He's been a huge part of 2010's music. He's maybe the biggest name of the decade, top 5 at least, along with like Drake and Beyonce, of course, maybe a few others too, Ariana Grande, Taylor Swift as well. Ed Sheeran is up there as one of the biggest artists of our time. And even though there are a few tracks across his career that are definitely worthwhile and are solid, Castle on the Hill was a good track. I do really like Don't as well, that's a great song. Sing, that was a fun track. Most of his music is throwaway. It's incredibly mediocre. I don't get it. He often makes very, very plain piano ballads and occasionally drops like a poppier tune where he tries doing his rappity singing thing. On tracks like You Need Me, I Don't Need You, it always sounds cringy and corny, but people like it and that's fine. I just don't get it. But on this newest album, he's set to go on a completely different path by collaborating on every single song that is on this album. There are 15 tracks. Every track is a collaboration track. That's the point of the album. He's done this before in his early days, but now that he's a superstar, it makes sense for him to try this out again in a full album form because he has way more contacts than he did back when he was just doing acoustic ballads. And I'll always applaud any artist that goes in a different direction. I mean, it's pretty risky. He's known for a style. This could flop for him, but it probably won't. But you know, you could definitely flop if you completely change your persona, your image, because people are going to you for a certain sound, and on this album that sound doesn't really crop up except for that one track where it is just a plain acoustic ballad. But everything else is completely different for Ed. And casual music fans are gonna listen to these songs and probably think, yeah, it's cool, he's trying something new, I can't hate on him for it. But you've got to really be more critical than that, because just because you're trying something new doesn't mean it's good. You have to be good at it. You can do as many different genres on one album as you possibly can, like here, but if hardly any of them sound good, then why the hell would I say, well, it's cool that he's doing something new? I'm not giving anyone the benefit of the doubt because they made a song like Antisocial. Christ, what is that beat? It's gross, it's sickly, it is disgusting. Ed Sheeran over that too? Who thought that was a good idea? So many of these tracks as well, he sounds really painfully out of place. A Stormzy collaboration where he's doing this really weird flow on the chorus. You can just tell he's trying to be cool, trying to be quirky and like, you know, fit with the hip hop times. But man, you gotta do it well. This just doesn't work. It is kind of funny as well how I think he did kind of figure out that on a few tracks, because quite often he's just the hook man. Like he doesn't do anything else other than just the chorus, which is pretty funny to me. On your own album, you're really just sticking to that and that only. Sure, it's not every track, of course, he does throw in some verses here and there, but tracks like 1,000 Nights, he's just pretty much singing the hook. The hook has nothing catchy about it at all. There's no impressive melodies going on. It doesn't get stuck in your head, which is, you know, what a hook is supposed to do. But Ed seems to lose that. And it just makes for a really, really tedious listen. You're just sifting through really painfully amateur sounding songs, honestly. Like Cross Me really, really is poor from a production standpoint. And Chance the Rapper's feature adds nothing either. He sounds pretty terrible there. But the song itself, like, similarly to Antisocial, just sounds awful from the get-go. The beats here are really, really poorly put together. Lyrically, there's just nothing impressive here at all on this album. Some really awful features from people like Cardi B, A Boogie with a Hoodie, just really, really reek on their songs. Ed too on this album he's pretty whatever. It just honestly highlights the lack of versatility he has as an artist. Not to say that he has no talent at all. He has some talent. He's a decent singer for sure, but He just slips into his usual lyrical routines on a lot of these songs. Way to Break My Heart is just another typical Ed Sheeran song about a girl. It's just so boring at this point. He's done it 100 million friggin' times before, and the Skrillex production is really, really vanilla too. Like, Skrillex has been known to be pretty insane with some of his production choices, but I think he had to really strip it down to fit with Ed Sheeran on here. There are a few tracks on the album where Ed is bringing up some insecurities about his fame and how he doesn't fit that fame image, which I do appreciate because he is just an ordinary guy, and it's okay to be an ordinary guy, and he doesn't want to live up to those celebrity expectations, and I appreciate that. He's not your beautiful godlike creature that a lot of celebrities are pinned up to be like. He's not that beautiful person. He's not, the kind of guy that's partying, drinking, taking drugs all the time. He doesn't want to be that guy either. And he accepts that he doesn't really fit into that image or fit in with a lot of people that he may be surrounded by. And that's okay, It does make a song like I Don't Care kind of passable. I don't really think there's anything to hate about this song, honestly. It's pretty basic. The beat is the same the whole way through. It gets pretty plain, but it's at least passable, I think. I think Justin Bieber trying to fit into that image on the track honestly fails completely, but he was really just there for the star power and the fact that there needed to be a feature on every friggin' song. But at least Khalid fits in quite nicely on Beautiful People, which again is the other track I was talking about, where he's talking about this theme of lack of fitting in. So there are tracks that are just whatever, like I'm not gonna hate these songs while they're playing. Although I think I Don't Care will get pretty boring quite quickly, considering it has been really popular, and it just doesn't really have that much staying power in the long run, I don't think. Blow is surprisingly a track here that I actually don't mind that much. It's pretty much just a carbon copy of rock music that's been done a million times before, but I actually think Chris Stapleton and Bruno Mars sound really good on this track. I don't know why. It's not a song I'll probably play often, but I didn't mind it when it was on. That's really it for praises. Like, most of this album is awful. The guest features honestly don't really add a great deal to the songs, and yet they fit the songs better than Ed does, but they're still not that exciting or impressive. You got Remember That Name with 50 Cent and Eminem. Eminem, we know, is way past it at this point. His verses these days are awful. This is no exception. And whenever Ed Sheeran tries to rap, man, it's the worst thing. It is just the worst thing. Like, it's just so blatant that there are people out there that probably don't like rap music, but they get turned up to Ed trying to be like this cool rapping type guy who's throwing in these braggadocious lines every so often. It's just so painfully awkward. I guess the last point I want to bring up about this album as well is that for a guy that really wants to bring up the fact that he's this misfit, he doesn't quite fit in, he really, really isn't selling it all that much when you kind of think about how many trends he's trying to dabble in on this album. He's doing so much on this album that everyone else out there is doing, and yet he still tries to convince you that he's not like everyone else. And it's just the worst. It's just the worst. Don't be that guy. Make your own lane. Go in your own lane. Don't do everything else that everyone else is doing and then try and be like, well, I don't fit in, really. And if you are gonna do that, at least try and mask it a little bit. Or at the very least, make the songs good. Just make the songs sound good. These are awful sounding songs. And Ed Sheeran on his own album is the most out of place element on this thing. He just does not fit these tracks at all. The features are weak as fuck. You did 15 songs of collaborations and about 3 of them sounded decent. At best as well, at best. Come on. Ugh. The only thing I can say I'm really thankful for about this album is that there isn't another Thinking Out Loud or Perfect that's going to completely take over radio airplay filler for the next 6 months. At least there isn't one of those. Thank fuck. But yeah, it's not that much to be thankful for because this is all really bad. 3 out of 10. This, I guess maybe it's not meant to be like one of those albums, because you know you could probably pick and choose individual tracks for whatever mood you're in, but I would never pick any of these tracks for any mood, so of course it is a 3 out of 10. Thank you for watching this video. Hope you got some enjoyment out of what I had to say. Hopefully you got some enjoyment out of the album, maybe, who knows, but let me know. Comment, have a good day, goodbye, bye.